Well, the The City of Kaiser's Traffic Safety Bikeways Pedestrians Committee for Thursday, September 15th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Second, I'd like to get a review of the minutes. Approval.
I move we approve the minutes for July.
Yes.
Second.
Thank you.
Rick,
Second?
I have second.
Oh, okay.
Rick. I need to pass it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, number 3, appearance of interested citizens. The first one we have is Ariana Brooks. Oh, I'm sorry, wait a second, Ariana. I actually skipped. It was Nancy.
Oh,
I didn't see it either.
the handwriting is so nice it looked like part of the document.
They're trying to help me. So Nancy Seeley, please. Yeah, surprise. Sorry. If you would come up here.
Thank you. I want to thank you. I get the opportunity to speak here. And this is about a parking problem in our neighborhood.
Okay, can you pull the mic towards you a little bit?
Oh, this?
Yeah, just grab that.
There you go.
And this has been an ongoing problem for about 2 years. The neighbors are aware that the real problem is caused by the owner of an apartment complex there. Our HOA is trying to work with them. And what happened,
Excuse me, what location are you talking about?
Yeah.
on Hidden Creek, I'm talking about the Hidden Creek Estates or whatever they call it, yes. And there's apartment complex on both sides of the street when you turn in there. Now, our backyard faces, I don't know my east and my west, but our backyard is a backyard with the apartment complex. And the people that live on that side of the street, the owners of that building will not work with the residents, but that's not your issue. But what they started doing, they started allowing people to move in there with people already living there on the lease, and they're not required to be on the lease. So they're letting them live there. But because they're not on the lease, they will not give them a parking spot, not even one. And this is what the manager told my sister. This is what's going on. And she told us the people on the street don't have a lease here and they won't pay. They charge them $50 a month for one parking spot. That apartment complex has plenty of spots for everybody on the street. People in the neighborhood have gone in the middle of the night, in the morning. I know our HOA has talked about, residential parking permits. And I don't know what the city of Kaiser, if they require someone to prove they're a resident to get one of those permits. And it is a public street, and we're all aware that they're allowed to park on that. And I did bring some pictures because I was told they would take my pictures if I was willing to go to court and testify. And I said, I will do that. Almost, I would say 6 nights out of the week, they park in front of the fire hydrant. I live on Hidden Creek and Brook Hollow. So when I go to, they're parking right at the corner of those 2 streets. You have to pull out about halfway into the street to see around them. And I did look up, and I'm doing the best I can. I don't know if it's accurate. According to the state of Oregon, there needs to be a 20-foot distance between where a car parks and where there's an intersection. Now, I don't know if you're aware of how Hidden Creek is built, at least the front part of it. Our street they're called 0 lot lines. We have very small lots. Each house only has one little spot in front of it. And a couple of the neighbors, myself included, last Sunday, there was a man parked right there. And I was told not to call pickups big trucks. Some of these new pickups, they are very large trucks, and you can't see around. So I pulled up around, and the young man was sitting in his truck, so I went like this, and he said no. So I was going to go on, and then he rolled down his window. And I said, you really can't park there. I have never been called so many vulgar, filthy names in my life. He told me, this is a public street, I will park wherever I want. And I said, I'm aware it's street parking, I don't have a problem with that, but you're too close to the end of the street and we can't see around you, you need to move up. This man was so bad. And a couple, actually on our actual street, there's one couple that have a teenage child, and then there's an elderly woman who let her son and grandchildren move in. Everyone else on our street is retired or single elderly women. There's women that live on my street that have told me themselves they're afraid to say anything to anybody. And this is going to become more than a parking problem. And let me stop. I would say at least 95% of the people that live in that apartment complex are very kind, nice, law-abiding citizens. It's a small group of those people that are parking on the street. They know what the enforcement code is. They work 9 to 5, whatever it is. They don't work on the weekends. We understand the police can't run over there all the time, but it's almost every night. They park in front of the fire hydrant. They park on that corner. And there's a couple other people on the street that have gone to, we're not nasty, vicious people. We're just trying to live in our neighborhood. To try and talk to these people. My neighbor man, who's 75, went to talk to a woman. He told me she said worse things to him than that man said to me. And they're starting to ruin kind of the concept of that neighborhood. And I do want to say, I have called the police. I came down and I actually dealt with Officer Powell. I don't know if he was called the next day. I called City Hall and thanked him. There was a problem, he dealt with it immediately. I don't really have a problem with the police, but the police can only enforce what they're allowed to enforce. Right. And I am asking that curb be painted because someone is going to get hit in that intersection, and I'm asking that the fire hydrant be painted and it's off the street a little bit. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And there is going to come a time when there's going to be some physical altercations because people aren't aware they're going to walk up and deal with somebody that's going to behave that way. And there's going to start being problems with vandalism or whatever. Because this certain group, they tell us, we'll park wherever we want. Call the police, we don't care.
Okay.
Is this issue on Brook Hollow?
Yeah.
The parking problem is actually on Hidden Creek, but we live right off, Brook Hollow is right off that.
Yeah,
And it's
I'm looking at a map here.
Yeah, it's the corner of Brook Hollow and Hidden Creek.
Okay. Mike, do we have any, with painting that area that she's talking about?
So about a year ago is when this started, and I understand, and thank you for coming. A lot of residents in those apartments were parking on the street, and it was really bottlenecking down when you pull off of River Road and head east on Hidden Creek. And we ended up painting both sides of the curb from River Road, River Road in both on the north side and on the south side to a certain extent to help alleviate some problems as the cars are trying to get out of the neighborhood because you'd be coming in and coming out and have to wait turns. So we went to a certain point.
I understand that.
Yeah, no, and I'm just giving some background as far as what we did. As far as painting around the hydrant, it's something we don't do that around town. It's not allowed to park in front of a hydrant.
I know that, and you know what, and I know it wasn't Officer Powell. The first time my sister reported that, do you know what a Kaiser police officer told her? If the curb's not painted red, we're not going to ticket them. And my sister said, it doesn't need to be painted red. It's illegal to park in front of a fire hydrant. Mm-hmm. And I'm aware the fire department can bulldoze the car. But if they have to do that, it would be taking up time they should be using to fight a fire. And you know what? And I don't know which ones it is, but they're playing a game in that neighborhood. They don't care about our neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And so they park in front of that fire hydrant almost every single night. because they know the police have other issues. We are aware of that, but our only option is to call the police or ask the city to, because they don't park. If it's painted, they don't park there, because
It's a tough situation because you paint that and they're just gonna move farther inside the neighborhood there, and then it's just gonna,
well, but it's illegal for them to park.
I understand.
So, and I'm telling you, as a neighbor that lives there and seeing their behavior, the only way they're gonna stop parking there is if it's painted, because they stopped parking when you painted those other curbs. And I do understand, if I call the police and say there's a car parked here on the corner, it's illegally parked, I understand as a citizen, they can't necessarily come when I call them.
Okay.
And I did bring a picture of the person parked in front of a fire hydrant last night. I took a picture of their license plate, and I'm not out to, I'm not trying to say people can't park on public streets. Of course they can.
Okay.
But they're,
So Nancy, at this time, I don't really hear there's anything that we can do as
Well-
far as painting the fire hydrant, from what I'm hearing
Well,
from Mike.
okay, but I'm
And we'll-
telling you the
and we can
corner
re-
needs to be
We can
painted.
report to, or I can stop by code enforcement and see if there's any, if we have your phone number and address, I can jot a note to you and find out if there's any city ordinances that are being violated regarding parking slots in apartments. I don't offhand remember. I
Yeah,
remember the issues come up at other apartment buildings about people parking on the street, but some things are fixable and some aren't. The one about the fire hydrant and your issue with the police department, one is if it's illegal, you report it to the police department. If you don't get, the issue about somebody saying they wouldn't ticket it, I would, not an emergency call, but talk to the chief.
Okay, but what I am
Okay.
telling you, that corner, and I looked it up, I have it on my phone. It's a state law. They're not supposed to park within 20 feet.
Then just call, I would suggest just, I know it sounds futile,
Yeah.
but you call the police. And
I will, but-
they've always been responsive.
But they can't always come right away.
No,
I
but
know,
they
but
do
they can
have
come soon enough.
statistics.
You'll get them,
Yeah.
you'll get them eventually.
Yeah, they do have statistics that they
You know
are
what,
taking.
I
note.
hate to disagree with you, but I don't accept that answer because someone's gonna get hit in that intersection. I am talking about a safety issue.
Yes.
And I don't accept that you're gonna tell me they'll get them eventually. That's unacceptable to me.
No, but if there's nothing you can legally do, I mean, we have lots of situations we find dangerous, and the police find dangerous and everybody else, that there's really nothing you can do ahead of time to stop somebody from running a red light outside and making sure that it's visible. But I mean, we know that those things are gonna happen. So, and I'll talk to code enforcement and see if there's anything about on-street parking.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of TCM. I've been doing some research. And it was put out by the Department of Transportation and another group. And it said in the state of Oregon, what the state is trying to do is let neighborhoods, this is not downtown parking, let neighborhoods be involved in the parking problems. And I don't accept that the city of Kaiser can't paint that curb yellow. And I'm not a nasty person, I'm not a litigious person, but it is becoming more and more of a problem. And those people, and like I told you, it's a very small percentage, they don't care. And the city of Kaiser, by law, I think needs to take care of it. And it is illegal according to the state laws that they
Okay.
park there.
Okay.
There is an easy fix, paint the curb yellow.
Okay.
If painting is not an option, Mike, can we get a sign? One of those that say no parking here to corner? Do we have those?
I'll look into a few options for you.
And I did talk to Megan Hurley for an hour last week, and I told her, tell the city, if they don't have anyone to do it, I'll volunteer to paint it. I'll even buy the right paint. You tell me what paint you need. I'm not gonna break the law and go paint it myself, but I would gladly do that because my concern is someone is gonna get hit in that intersection. And this is part of the parking issue, they park on both sides now. So a lot of people drive straight down the middle of the road. So that's why it's not really an option. Well, that lane's free, to turn, you have to look. And it's even some of the you
Okay,
know,
Nancy, what we'll do is we'll
homeowners.
definitely have Mike see if he has any options for you, and we do have your email address on file. Go ahead.
Are you in the Gubser Neighborhood Association area?
No, I'm in the Hidden Creek Homeowners
Oh,
Association.
not in the Neighborhood Association?
Right.
Because they,
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
this has become an ongoing problem. And like I said, I didn't come down here to be nasty to anyone. I didn't come down here. I know the police work. I support police officers. I support
Okay, thank you,
firemen.
Nancy. We have to limit each person to about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And we will definitely look into this. We have your email address, and hopefully we can get some
Okay.
details back to you. If you wanted to email your pictures to us,
Yes.
you can send them to Debbie
Yes.
Lockhart. She's on the website, and that way we can have them logged on file for you.
I am going to say one more thing. The police told me you have to report it every day.
Every day.
And I told the police officer, if you want a pest, I will become the pest.
That's the only way to get things done.
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
But I never threaten anyone, and I do appreciate what everyone's doing.
Thank you, Nancy. And you're more than welcome to keep coming back here and giving us a progress report on that, and we will definitely keep looking
I will.
into what
Thank you.
is going on. Thank you, Nancy. Next, we have Ariana Brooks. If you'll state your name and where you live.
Yeah, hello, my name's Ariana Brooks, and this is Vincent and Archer Brooks. We live at Dearborn and River Road in Kaiser. We've been residents for just about 3 years now. I think we met Mike and David at Kaiser Fest, maybe, and Shaney and them had invited the boys to come tell about what they think needs to be done on our street, and I'll let them say what they want, and then I'll fill in after that. But we love to ride our bikes around Kaiser, and we got some really good information from them at Kaiser Fest, and that's awesome. And we all know there are some issues on Dearborn Northeast. So, what do you guys want to say?
So we want a closed crosswalk along Dearborn to the park from the between Dearborn and Verda.
By Claggett Creek Park? Is that the
Yes.
park you're talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
Why? Why is that important to you?
because we like going to that park since we've lived here, and we like that we get to go to it and we live near it. So we actually rode our scooters there once, and we wanted to be safe crossing.
Okay, Archer, do you want to talk? Talk about riding. You don't want to talk about crossing the street? No. Not today? Okay. Yeah?
So which was the one that spoke?
Vincent.
Vincent? Thank you, Vincent.
What do you want to say about the street? You don't want to? Just say your name. No? Okay. I know that that part of Dearborn is on your radar, very well known. And I will be following closely, and we really just wanted to come tonight to be involved. And I've always been very involved in my community, and I was just really appreciative of Miss Starr making a point that they could be involved and share their voices about what they think needs to be done. And I agree that there should be some sort of protected crosswalk or speed cushion or something put in that section of Dearborn. We unfortunately live on the opposite side from where the park is, and so that is my biggest concern as a parent, is the speeding issue. I'm also a stay-at-home mom, and so I have a really good perspective of being home all day, facing the road, watching the speed issues that have supposedly been said aren't really that big of a problem.
Ariana and Vincent, thank you so much for giving us the information, and we definitely do have Dearborn on our radar. as far as a crosswalk review, I'm not sure where that lays right now, but Hershey, you had something to
I was
say?
just going to ask, did they get helmets? Do they have helmets?
They have helmets, yes, thank
Okay,
you.
good, good.
Yes, thank you.
With that new development, that might give us a little more emphasis for more crosswalks up there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Thank
we
you.
have been reviewing, or because we talked about a sidewalk for that area, and that is something up to the builder, I believe, is what we were told? Okay. On Verda,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, all the things that I've heard leave out our section
It does,
of
okay.
Dearborn Northeast between River Road and Verda.
Okay.
Everything that I've heard about what's gonna happen with the apartment complexes, none of it addresses that section.
We'll definitely add it to our list of items to review, especially as it gets closer to that being built. And I do appreciate you guys coming in and chatting with us. Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We might not stay for the
Oh,
whole
look,
meeting,
that's
but
bedtime.
Okay, we have Randall Simmons. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here for a continuation of what Nancy presented you guys.
Okay.
And it's on the intersection of Brook Hollow Court and Hidden Creek. That intersection, it has to be painted. It's got to be.
Okay.
They got to stop the parking on those corners on both sides, the west side and the east side.
Okay.
You pull up to that stop sign, you have to pull clear out into the middle of the lane to look both ways to see if cars are coming. And it's happened to me 3 different times where I've done that, and there's a car that is coming and it wants to turn onto Brook Hollow, and they always cut it short. And there's going to be an accident that happens sooner or later. I've got lots of pictures. I mean, it's a daily occurrence. There's always a car parked there. And like Nancy said, you can't talk to them. All they do is fight and argue.
All right.
And I've talked to Ben Crosby about it. He's aware of it. And I've sent a text and an email to Bill Lawyer, but I haven't heard anything back from him.
Okay.
So if there's anything that can be done for those corners, they need to be painted.
Well, you
I mean,
do-
there's only 26 of us that live on that street, 26 houses. And sooner or later, there's going to be an accident happen.
Randall, will you forward that email that you sent to Bill Lawyer to Debbie Lockhart to forward to the committee? That would help us in our discussions that we have with Bill Lawyer on where it is on his status report of what he's.
Forward it to her.
Yeah, she has to send it to the whole committee at the
Okay.
same time. But if
Okay.
you did that, and if you have those pictures as well
I do
too.
have the pictures.
I don't know if you want to give us those copies or maybe just email over
Yeah,
what you have.
Over here?
Yeah, Debbie will
Okay.
take it in for us, and I think, as I said, being vocal will definitely get you to the next level, so if you want to come back, we do meet every third Thursday? Third Thursday, and we just have you come in and just, hey, we haven't heard anything, do you have anything from your side? And we'll do our best to see what we can find out
So
for
it
you.
doesn't look like it could happen
That's not,
immediately?
it's
Wouldn't that be nice?
yeah, no, I don't think that's kind of, so Mike works with Bill, so he's going to bring this information back to him, let him know that there were 2 citizens that came in to bring attention. And from there, Mike will come back to us and let us know if there's anything that he can possibly do. So I do encourage you to come back to our October meeting.
Does it look possible that?
I can't
corners
make,
could
we
be
are
painted?
just we do not make any rules or anything like that. All we can do is the same thing you're doing. So if 4 of us are going and saying, hey, city count, or
We
to the ci-
recommend.
we can just recommend, and that's what we've just done when Nancy came up, is we said, Mike, can you look into this further for us? And the second part is that Nancy understands that calling the non-emergency line and logging those calls of how many times, even if it is daily. And it sounds like I can get that from you. They'll know that this is an area that really needs addressing. And those are our only 2 options and ways for us to bring attention to something that, as I hear, is building and brewing. And I only can encourage that you come back so that we can get it fixed before something does happen.
So just keep coming back to the meetings until it gets fixed?
That's the way we kind of have to operate
Okay.
until we, are loud enough. And maybe what you could do is have someone from your HOA come over here and talk to us.
Well,
It's,
I'm from the HOA.
Oh, okay.
you are, okay, that's good to hear. So I don't know if there's, if you guys have board meetings or anything like that, you can definitely let them know that you've involved us and we're doing our steps and checks to ask them to review
I
it.
mean, as far as this intersection goes, it's kind of minor compared to what's actually going on Hidden Creek, all those cars parked there.
Right.
It's.
Well, and I believe they would definitely assess the whole area, but at this point in time, the quick fix, it sounds, is maybe a painting of a curb, an additional painting of the curb, and we're gonna look into that.
Right.
Okay, okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I think that's Jamie.
I think it's
What do you
Tammy.
think? Tammy or Jamie?
Is it Tammy Runez? Help me out if I got it wrong. All right,
Okay, you all should have a copy of this, by the way.
yes.
Oh, your neighborhood? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that thing, Norm, he doesn't like them.
So state your name and what area you're,
Tammy, Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
okay, thank you.
And I'm only gonna highlight what's in red, because y'all can read the rest.
Okay,
ADA sidewalks are needed for Dearborn and Verda. We have an elderly couple that basically have to get down and crawl to get off the bus. It literally made me cry to watch them struggle to get off the bus at that stop. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. If there's anything we can do to get ADA sidewalks right there, it is a four-way, and
Which side?
the,
West or east?
across from where they're building.
Across.
So where they're
Across.
building
So
on,
Dearborn, Verda on the east side of the Verda?
yes, right by the North Terrace sign, Northview Terrace sign.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bus stop right there
That's
on
the bus
Verda?
stop right there.
Have you talked to Chariots?
I sent them an email. I have not heard back.
Okay.
I did get a call from RJ stating that he wanted to get together because they're in the middle of working on that plan with Chariots. So I just have to set that meeting up to see what we can do with that one.
He is on the, represents Kaiser
Oh,
on
okay.
transit.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But I don't know who's in charge of doing what at that point.
oh, Tammy, I kind of feel the same way about that. It seems like we're on hold to watch how the apartment gets built, and I'm not really getting
Well,
any
it's not even on the
traction.
same side as the road. It's across the street.
Right, right.
But if it's right at
So-
the bus stop, was on the transit board, so that's kind of transit's jurisdiction.
Okay,
And I think RJ is the right person to contact, and he can talk to their public works people to see what they have planned, because if we put something in, it may be in conflict with their bus movement.
okay.
And Hirsch is correct. It is definitely Chariots. The improvements that will be done on Verda Lane will be done only on the apartment side. That's the builder is responsible for those.
Right.
Okay, which leads me to one of my second points. On the back, it talks about pedestrian beacon for crossing. And hopefully I got it right, but would like to see a speed cushion put in with one of those buttons you can push that have the lights flash so that it's safe for people to cross
At that same area?
at that same area.
Crossing Verda or crossing Dearborn or?
Crossing technically both.
Two crosswalks.
Because you're gonna have the apartment complex, which is gonna add students to Kennedy Elementary. There's not always a crossing guard at that corner as there used to be, but for some reason, for whatever reason right now, there's not always one there. So having some form of safety precaution for the kids to get back and forth to school, kids to and from the park, safety issues. I did put some prices on the back, but again, I'm not sure if it's the right technology. I was trying to fly by the seat of my pants on that one when I was looking it up. And it said that it was in 3 different parts. There's a sign, and then there's a push button for the light with some form of a rectangle sign that's supposed to say it's safe to cross or whatever. Again, that's more of you guys's than mine, because I have no idea. One of the other concerns, a couple people from Bonaventure community over off of Lock Haven and Shamawa and McLeod and Shamawa have asked if we can do a similar thing for them to cross, because at the moment they have to cross Verda, then cross Lock Haven, and then cross again to go to Kaiser Station. And some of them have almost been hit by a car because it's just not a safe area.
Are you on the, do you attend the neighborhood associations or on the board?
She is.
I am the president of Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
Okay. By any chance, do you send these to Bill Lawyer to review, or have had a conversation with him for assessment of these
And
areas?
no, I have not yet. This was my first handling of the Bonaventure thing.
Okay.
That's something new in the last 2 weeks that came up.
Well, I think we, with the first item, definitely talking to Chariots and seeing about that.
Okay.
We would like to be involved if you would want to come back and give us an update of progress.
Okay.
Well, we always like to be involved with those and knowing what's going on.
Well, and I
the
come to all the meetings anyway, so y'all see me right.
And then with the second part with the Bonaventure thing, that's, I think it needs to be assessed first by our Public Works.
Okay.
And this would be the first time in these areas?
Okay, so
kind of?
I will email
Well,
this to,
The whole area is new, so.
Yeah.
the road-
Exactly.
Coming.
For some of us, it's new.
So I would,
exactly.
if Bill Lawyer's email address is on the website, but again, Debbie will help us get it to
Okay.
where it needs to go to.
Well, and I sent this to Debbie too, so she can always forward it to him, and then we can just go from there.
Yeah, and definitely a
And
phone
then
call.
I will make it a point to go to Bonaventure and get some contact info so that I can connect them with the right folks as well.
Okay, Carmen, I definitely think we might have a plan of action and see where we can move forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yes, sir.
Back on your flashing lights, you're talking about where there's a 4-way stop.
Yes,
Flashing lights generally, in that kind of things, are mid-block
okay,
placement versus at a 4-way stop. The best example of that is on Lancaster by Chemacada.
that's exactly the type I was looking for.
Well, your price is, it's about 10 to 20 times more than your price. Because we're trying to get one on Lock Haven into Celtic Way, and that's a mid-block.
Okay.
You rarely will see one at a 4-way.
Well, there is a side street too in the middle of those, a couple of them actually, so I will take note of in there and see.
But I also think that Bill Lawyer would be able to let us know what his assessment is and what could happen. And then we could take that to the next level of bringing it to city council's attention.
Perfect.
At the end of the year, this committee will be writing a memo to city council of just the overview of the year and on who has come in and spoke to citizens that have come in to speak to us.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get into the next budget cycle of getting some of these items addressed.
Perfect. If you have
Okay,
any
thank you.
questions, you can get my
And be
info.
ready for budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Budget committee, because this is where, if it is thought of, they have to budget it.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's always amazing the number of people who don't show up to the budget committee hearings, which is really one of the places, because if we don't have any money, even if it's the right thing to do, we can't do it, then we have to go through the budget process, which isn't gonna get done till '23, which means you're not gonna get anything done till 2024.
Yeah,
And
it
if
does
there's no
move.
money, we're kind of stuck.
But at this, what we've identified this year by this committee is that writing this memo to the city council of just an overview of the areas that have been addressed by citizens keeps them in purview of what maybe they can do, or at least think about it for the budget,
Perfect.
for the next budget season. Okay, thank you, Tammy. Rob Whittle? Whit? Help me with
We
the
don't know if
last
we got
name.
your last name.
I
right.
didn't.
Rob Witters,
Witters, thank
Yeah,
you.
West Kaiser.
Witters. Here representing the West Kaiser Neighborhood Association. And actually, I just wanted to take a moment to express our gratitude to the board. Nothing's happened yet, but we just feel like it doesn't look like the stop sign that we've been advocating for is going to happen, but we're thinking possibly the speed table will. Despite the report that the study that was done.
Right.
But without the committee, I don't know that we would have known a good way to bring this to the attention of the council and to get the process started. So again, nothing's finalized or anything like that, but we do feel like we are hopefully on the verge of getting a speed table, hopefully speed cushions possibly, but
Yeah, no, I did actually read that. I think it was on Nextdoor app that the principal has been talked to, thought it was in support of it, and it sounds like it went to city council in the last 30 days. I'm not sure.
Right.
Debbie, is that true?
Yes, it was at the last meeting.
Okay.
yeah, it was at the last meeting, and unfortunately, I was unable to make the meeting, but we had a couple of our members testified, and actually, Mike from your committee testified about it also, and Chief Teague was in support of it also, which I think really kind of helped push us over that precipice. But again, we do think it's going to be beneficial for the kids in the area, slowing down traffic.
Yes.
And so, like I said, nothing is finalized, but we feel like, we're on the edge of possibly being successful. But so we just really wanted to take a moment again to express our gratitude for having this venue, for, able to get that study done and those type of things. So,
Yeah,
So
it's a
that's it.
tedious process I'm seeing, because this is the first time I've been through it too, and you guys have definitely been diligent to get in here and make sure to see where we are at on status. And that's the only way kind of to get things pushed through and get an answer, so.
right, yeah, well, we kind of believe in the squeaky wheel theory, so
Thank you.
anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And then real quick, to speak on that, yeah, it was last week's council meeting, and council directed staff to install 2 solar speed displays on shoreline at or near Dearborn. And that's one separate project. And then aside from that, a speed table, not a speed cushion, but a speed table at the crosswalk at the light for coming to school.
And they were, there was a little confusion on our part on that, as we weren't sure if they were instructed to do so or to include that in their study with the speed monitors or whatever, so.
So both of those were moving forward, and Bill's committed to accomplish that this fiscal year. So
Okay.
I'm getting quotes right now for the solar speed displays, and Bill's looking into the speed table cost, and
Awesome.
so.
Farther ahead.
So even better, yeah.
That's some stuff.
Glad you made it.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
That's right, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Red. Rick?
Mike, I've heard the term speed cushion a couple times tonight here. I'm not familiar with that.
So that speed cushion leaves 2 gaps in it for emergency vehicles to go through, so they can just go at whatever speed they want without having to go up and over, so.
Right in the wheel tracks, is that what you're
Yep.
saying?
And
I thought they were just soft.
And that was decided against because it'll be at the crosswalk. And so that's where it was talked about to be put, because Bill he had asked the question, where's this going? Where on Cummings? Because we've heard, we want these, but where? And so the crosswalk is where, and that takes a speed table, kind of like on Alder for those 2 schools. Creates a little bit more, because there's no sidewalks and curbs there, so we got to get, ADA compliant, have to get up to that, so we're starting at ground level, so we're looking into ways to make that work, so, first.
My only concern is bicycle traffic. The one at Claggett and Weddle, that's fine for bikes, no problem. But there are some, if it's too pointed, you're flying.
Slow down on your electric bike and.
Well, even kids, if you can have it more cushioned, and with the striping and everything, that really is a visual for all drivers to kind of slow down.
Yeah, and we'll take all that into consideration. This is just in the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
Figure out, but yeah, duly noted.
Especially with it being by a school, there are going to be kids on bikes, and we don't want them going airborne.
Okay, well, that concludes our appearance of interested citizens. Number 4 is our committee finished updating the.
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry, there wasn't a name, please.
Signing up ahead of time.
It's okay, if you just want to give us your name and,
My name is
area.
Don Davis. And I live at the corner of Brooks and Alder. And our families, we've lived there for 27 years. And we've really noticed a growing problem on that corner within the last 10 years. Most recently, and most of these have been recorded through the police, is my sister-in-law was parked just, what would that be, west of us on the curb, and a hit and run driver who was stolen a car on Silverton Road, went around that corner and totaled her car. She just found out about a week ago, it totally totaled it. And before that, we've had our mailbox, which I think the car got the worst of it because of the way that our mailbox is built. It has been hit 3 different times over the last 5 years. And 7 years ago, in 2015, cars were racing and they went around that corner. And we have on that corner, in a little bit is like a little driveway that we had. And our son was living with us at the time, and he was parked in that area. And I heard a bang, it was like 8 o'clock at night, and heard some screeching, didn't see anything, then looked, and I thought it was odd that my son's car was parked sideways. And of course, if we looked further, the car had come around that corner, clipped him, turned him 180 or 90-degree angle, went through our yard and just missed the mailbox, darn it, and the hedge. And
Help me out here, because I'm trying to, I actually live right in that area.
Uh-huh.
So Brooks, and then I know we're Alder, where the kids are
red
working.
fence. You know where the red fence is? So we got Brooks and Alder. We're on the,
You're on that, okay, on the farther corner next to the electrical
yes.
place. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
And so they went around the corner and he was parked and he clipped it. And if that car hadn't been there, it probably would have ran into our house as fast as he was going and stuff.
so,
That's another speeding issue.
so are these all speeding issues, do you believe?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. When the police officer, the latest one that happened was 2 a.m. and the officer said, yeah, it's a thoroughfare. right through there because it's a straight shot.
Yeah.
On Brooks?
No, on Alder.
On
On Alder,
is
on
the
Alder, but
speeding
on
area.
Brooks too, they'll take it because they got all the way down to
Shady.
Candlewood.
Oh, yeah.
All the way down there, and so, and I work at home, so I see a lot, the speed that they go through there is just horrific.
Is there any suggestions, or I guess what comes to mind is making it a four-way stop?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Mike?
Oh, what's the,
Is there, I don't know if that's a middle area, but I know where he's talking about it, and it is area that the police are definitely watching, especially when we give a couple calls there. Is there a way to make that a four-way stop versus the two-way stop that it is now with Alder going through?
I don't know.
Ask Bill Lawyer, right?
is that, do the police keep track of complaints, like the speeding complaints in areas of the city? In any I mean, I know you hear all of them, but, and I know you try to respond, but if it occurs if it's the same place again and again and again, is there any record of that?
I don't know if there's actually I don't know if it's actually tracked on a digital form. As far as us, a traffic safety unit, we have a mental note. Myself and my partner and Sergeant Lede all note that Manzanita and 13th, Mandarin and 14th, the stop sign there, Shoreline, Dearborn, and also Alder. I'm on Alder a lot, right there across from Holly Court. If you've seen me on a motorcycle or even a patrol car there at the power grid.
Yes.
I know Alder's got a speeding issue because of the through-fare.
Yeah.
I don't know, it worries me with adding a stop sign there because of, with the children that, on Alder. Because the children pretty much go east and west on Alder rather than down Brooks. And I don't know if I've gotten any recent speeding complaints on Alder. And what you're talking about is what, over the last 7 years of events, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's they're going so fast that they're running into our,
Yeah.
running into our home almost, into our yard, and clipping the side of the mailbox.
The one issue I know is, I mean, that one, there's really no good answer to that one on where it's a stolen car.
Well, that was one.
Yeah.
The other ones weren't.
Yeah. I know, like up here on Shamawa, there was at the slight curve, they're working with a neighborhood there to try to keep cars from leaving the roadway as well. But I don't know, it's a different issue than what you have. It sounds like they're rounding that corner at speed.
They're rounding that corner too fast.
Yeah.
And of course, I walk my daughter to school every day and stuff like that, and they're speeding as it is, getting up to that stop sign. They're going between the schools. They're Pleasant, before it turns into Pleasant View. They're just flying through there.
From Brooks to Pleasant View?
On Alder. On Alder to, how it turns around the corner by Ben Miller Park?
Yep.
And then that's the stop sign there. They're just flying through there. And thank goodness there's a three-way stop there because they're going so fast.
Okay.
But like I said, right in front of our place and stuff like that. I figured a four-way would be good because it breaks up that thoroughfare of how far it is between Cherry and Ben Miller Park. They really, and middle of the night, we just hear them just screaming through there.
Yeah, I agree, and I actually don't live that close to there, but I do hear it. Hirsch, you wanted to say something?
Have you talked to your neighborhood association, Southeast Kaiser, just like West Kaiser, in their speeding issues? They worked through it and were able to get some success here. So I would highly recommend getting them because they have a pretty strong voice.
I have a long time ago, but with this last incident, I need to bring it up to him again.
You bet.
I brought it up to, I know Councilman Dan Kohler really well. And he says, he
Come
pointed
over
to you
here.
guys, says,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
you ought to go,
So,
voice your opinion
it
there,
brings
but
it up.
I could definitely do that too.
Definitely brings it up, but if it brings it up for sure with
Yeah.
us, but with the neighborhood associations, the more voices, the better.
Right.
And,
We'll do that.
And I hate to say the more, I don't want to keep anybody. If we could take it, and not by surprise, but what happens is like, wow, 7 cases, or all 5 neighbors have been upset for a year,
Yeah.
but nobody except you guys knew it. And so this brings it up. It doesn't solve it by any means, but it brings it up and it gets reviewed. Now a bunch of different people can look at it. And that's the only way anything's going to get done, so
yeah, and
don't worry about it. We kind of look forward. I always thought complaints were fun.
well,
Well, to listen to.
I think
Concerns.
at the next neighborhood association meeting, I believe it's the first
First Thursday.
Thursday of every month. If we bring it to there, hopefully I'll see it. I believe they meet here at 6 p.m. at night.
You're guessing.
I'm guessing. I really
Yeah,
am.
they meet.
Okay.
I've been to some of the meetings, but I haven't been for a little while. so.
Yeah, and it's kind of been a little bit hit or miss, but I'm going to be here at the next one. I think if we bring that together, there's a neighborhood traffic management program that we would follow, and that's exactly what the West Kaiser, we kind of helped take them to each level, and this was my first time walking through it with them, and as you see, we did have success, but it is 9 months in or 8 months in that it took to get to there. So it isn't something that just happens overnight, but with maybe you and I going and talking with our neighborhood association, maybe having them come in and also, or at least provide their minutes. So that shows details of what has happened. At least we can at least get it reviewed maybe, or at least on a list for review. I can say just from what I'm hearing, it's kind of more developed and already been there for 7 years the way it is. And I understand that we have more people coming in, and that's what's causing our issue. And so I do agree with you. The 4-way stop would be that, but I wouldn't doubt that I've asked for it before, and it's like, okay, I'm not sure there. So I think it needs to go to Bill Lawyer's list of, hey, can you assess this area and what do you think? At that point, it's now been brought up with Sergeant Powell, Sergeant? Officer, I'm so sorry. Officer Powell.
Promotion.
I was-
Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Powell, what? General Powell. How's that?
Stop it, you guys. That you're going to probably be a little bit more sensitive to that area now that it's kind of been brought up. Actually, I shouldn't even say this on camera, but I know. I know.
Well, I appreciate the presence there. And
Yeah.
when you're there, it isn't a problem, is it?
Right, exactly. So, but then, maybe some.
That's where the 4-way stop would come in.
And this also brings it to the attention of the city council. I'm assuming they get our minutes.
Yeah.
They do.
So they might read it.
Yeah, and again, as I said, at the end of the year, we'll be writing a memo and really just putting the areas that we've heard over the year and, what may need more attention. As you hear, Dearborn sounds like it gets brought up every meeting. So that definitely probably will be a lot of our view of what we look. So what do we need to do? We need to just bring Alder and Brooks up a little bit more and not attend every meeting, but maybe just check in and say, hey, during school time when it starts, it really picks up. And, in the summertime, it's kind of cooled off because school's out. I'm not sure what it is because I am working during the day. So you may know that answer if you do.
Yeah, no, the summertime, the kids are out late, the ones that are driving that are out later because it's lighter out.
Okay.
And, no,
Okay.
it's all the time.
Well, as again, I have this logged and I will do my best to bring it up to our neighborhood association and at least get it logged with Bill Lawyer as a concern.
And I'll attend the next meeting and
Okay.
bring it to their attention too while you're there, so.
All right, Mr. Davis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, here we go.
I'd like to see, I don't think it has to be a motion, but at least think about it. I'd like to put off the next 3 issues until next month. Because we have a grant thing we need to iron out eventually tonight. I don't know unless they're really brief. But
They are gonna be brief if, yeah, so
Okay.
the committee purpose has been gone over that's the next thing on the agenda.
Okay.
What we did over the last 2 or 3 meetings is review the committee purpose. Committee member Stephen Wolf gave us one insert to change for the purpose. What I was going to recommend to the committee for approval of having Tammy Salvador? Is that how you say it? Salvador? Saldivar? I'm bad with names, my goodness. And Mike DeBossi and myself to sit down while we're looking at the Neighborhood Traffic Management Program report and updating that for review and approval at our next meeting. We're actually gonna.
What did you say about the purpose, committee purpose?
Well, what I'm saying is that I want them to give us any notes that they have this meeting and that we were gonna compile them together. Can that happen? Between us 3 as a side committee, does that work for everyone? Does anybody have any extras to add to the committee purpose that they wanted to bring up right now or hand in?
Mike de Blasi suggested one, when he said he wasn't coming, he would like to have part of the committee purpose be adding input to projects in the early design phase.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, I've got some notes at home I'll get to you. I think, as I remember, mine was more about, there was a couple items on there that I can't tell the difference between the two.
Right.
And yet they're 2 different items in the purpose.
And I agree with that some of them need to be combined, and I do feel I have the committee member Stephen Wolf wrote up seems to combine 3 of them together. So I think if you let us take this outside of here, write this up, bring it back to our next meeting, we can present what we want to vote on and take to the city council for review and approval. That work for everyone?
So, I don't think you were at the last meeting, Jamie, were you?
Yeah, I was.
Well, we voted at one meeting to accept what
He
Stephen
said.
Wolf had suggested.
And then that's where it's left off.
And that's where it's left off, so yes, but I think what you're talking about is a good idea because you had mentioned that the committee was still going to review it, and so legal didn't want to go back and change just that one thing. They came to me and they said, well, are they gonna keep working on it? And so I said, yeah, it sounded like it, so I think what you're doing is appropriate.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and, since there isn't any others, but we do have these 2, and Rick will email to you, Debbie, if there's any way you can turn that around to us on Monday, because we plan on meeting Monday evening.
Yeah, it should be here.
Okay.
Yeah, or Rick can just send it to the whole committee. Everybody's got it. Just send it to
Okay,
everybody.
all right. It's your task.
And do we have everybody's emails? I probably do. I've probably filed it away.
Yes, you have a roster. Do you want me to send you the roster? I can send you the distribution list for just the committee members.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So with the, going back to the agenda, the committee purpose, and finish updating that, we will carry that on to the next meeting for a review and hopefully approval to move forward to city council. Number 5 is the neighborhood traffic management program update. Rick did give me his notes to review. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to that. If not, this will be reviewed by the side committee. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call it. The side committee.
Probably best to call it a work group.
A work group. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in a work group. to put it together and kind of have it clear and concise for everyone to read at our next meeting and hopefully either do comments or approve. Awesome, thank you. The next one on here was Tree City, and I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, could I make that one comment about the stop signs before you move on?
Well, I was going to have you do that during
okay.
the committee, number 7, the committee member input. I'm actually going to skip on Tree Cities and go ahead and bring that to the next meeting. And so that brings us to number 7 with the committee member input. So I'm going to start with Rick.
When I was reviewing that neighborhood traffic management thing, there was a statement in there that is absolutely pertinent to the stop sign requests we've had, both on Alder just now and on Shoreline before. There's a statement in there that very clearly says that stop signs should not be used strictly for the reason of slowing traffic.
Yeah.
You know, if the city were to put in stop signs here, that would be in violation of their own policy. So then any, rear end accident or injuries or anything that result from that would make the city liable. So either, the policy would have to change. And I've been away from being a practicing traffic engineer for so many years that I don't know if, you can change the words, but does that change the science behind that statement? So I forwarded that in an email to Debbie, last week, and she passed it on to you and to Mike. So that's just an issue that not only pertains to the traffic management plan, but to these 2 requests we've had for stop signs.
Goes back to what I've been hearing about. Stop signs are part of a tool for traffic calming devices versus just using the word stop sign.
Are you saying they are or they are not?
They are, but they're just one of many, many tools.
And this statement would say, if you take the statement at face value that's in the policy, would say it's not a tool for traffic calming. It's on, if you want to. It's on page 16, and when it's talking about stop signs.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we either need to go with that, or that language needs to be changed, and that's.
I would be inclined to go with traffic calming devices as a term.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely, when we're reviewing this, I suppose.
Yeah, that's just my 2 cents at this point.
Okay. Moving along, Tammy, do you have anything for committee member input?
No, I do not.
Okay. No neighborhood association meetings, right?
No, she has been at one.
Yeah, did you want to give any updates?
No, Hirsch is going to give.
Okay. All right, Hirsch, did you have anything for the committee?
Are you going to talk about the helmets, or do you want me to?
I will.
Okay. Participated in Surf Fest with David and Tammy and Mary Ann, and did a lot of helmets. David will give details on that. Neighborhood Association, August, we did not have a meeting as part of National Night Out, but we have a meeting next week, and we'll be talking more about guest speaker on Yes for the Library.
Awesome. How did Kaiser Fest go? Thank you for covering for me. I didn't expect to get ill.
David.
Yeah, Kaiser Fest. Right. I did Kaiser Fest for us. I primarily was handing out information and talking to people. It was really hot and dusty. I noticed we were neighbors, and it was, every time the wind picked up, it was, especially day 2, it was interesting. Anyway, we handed out a lot of information. Then after that, okay, I was there Thursday afternoon, all day Friday and all day. It was 7 hours each of those 2 days, so.
Well, thank you.
You'll get my bill.
0 times what?
Surf Fest was sponsored by which church again?
Lake Point Church.
Lake Point Church. Yeah, it's the most unchurch-like, not unchurch-like. You wouldn't know that it was being sponsored by a church. There's nothing about it. It's not a religious event, so. And they bought 50 bike helmets. They donated some money to our bicycle fund, safety fund. And so we donated back to them 50 helmets on the condition that we fit the people with the helmets. There's no fire, that helps. So we were there it started at 10, and we had fitted 50 people with helmets by 11:01.
Oh, wow.
We were pretty busy, so. It worked out very well, and we could have kept going. So the 50 helmets they gave out is probably half of what they could have used. And the nice, at least in my mind, one of the nice things about it, they vet all the people that are coming in terms of do they need it, I guess. So the people we were fitting all had name tags that the church had said these people need some help. And I don't know what the criteria is, I really don't even want to know, but I always had a concern one time. I was fitting a kid of one of my neighbors, and I know, well, you could afford to go down and get a bike helmet. Why am I doing this? Anyway, so that was beside the point. So that worked out well. I tried to send a memo out. I don't know if everybody got it or not. With the $250 we got from them, we have an account, much to the chagrin of some people, I guess, with the city. We now have a total of $730 in it.
Nice.
It's gone anywhere from $3,000 to $50 over the years that I've been keeping track of it. I also did an inventory of the helmets. For whatever reason, the last couple, whatever, or the people who showed up, we have a lot of small helmets, a boatload of toddler helmets. We're gonna have to push those people, toddler helmets.
Yeah, well.
Babies come by, you put a bike helmet on. And we're down to larges and mediums. So I think we need to order for the upcoming fire department's open house on October 10th. We need to order 24 large and 28 medium. That will give us more than enough for that event and probably tide us over through past the winter season, okay? And I don't know if we can just order that on consensus or we need to make a motion for it.
Mike, can you order those?
Well, I'll give you, I have the information about which helmets we want. Some of the helmets we got last time, maybe that's where I don't know. Anyway, I have the order made out, so I'll get that to you, Mike. And that'll cost about $500.
Probably formalize that either with a chair recognizing that it's by consensus or doing a motion.
I move that we purchase for
52 helmets.
52 helmets, specifically sized for the ones that we're short on for the October 10th helmet fitting at the fire hall.
I second.
Well, you know, through Helmets Are Us. Yeah.
And did I hear?
Tammy seconded.
Tammy? Thank you.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Awesome.
Okay, then, Hirsch, you want to do that one?
No, it's on.
Well,
I
it ties in with the helmet. I think a number of you were alerted earlier in the week from Mike Jaffe about innovative mobility micro grant applications now available. I already talked with Robert out at Parks because when I was doing the memorial, him and I got talking and stuff about bike racks. And this mini grant through ODOT is for community events, like if we wanted a Kaiser open streets, you could get some money for that. But one of the things that they do include is bicycle parking, bike racks or bike lockers. And our parks you know, we probably couldn't put racks in all our parks with this money, but we could at least put a good bike rack at the amphitheater and a good one at the Claggett and maybe at the Big Toy. So the mayor is behind this, very supportive of the concept. Also on this is, and this is where it will need a motion, because we have to go to city council, it also is a bicycle helmet promotion or opportunity for a grant to buy some more bike helmets tied to a bike safety program, which we do a bike skills fair.
Yeah, the skill fair, the Serve Fest,
the
Public Works open house
House.
if there is one, fire department
Yeah,
open house.
So we, in the past, gosh, it's been years, we used to apply for the helmet through ODOT. Well, that hasn't happened for 10 or 12 years or more, but now here it is. And I'd like to have a motion that we ask for
Well, $1,500
$1,500
for helmets and lights.
and do the application. I realize that if I can get approval here, we do have to go to city council to get approval because it is a process. But I know our community here has been wonderful, wonderful in donating, but here's an opportunity to get a grant. And that would cover us for next year.
So is this $1,500, is that a match you have to have
No.
for this?
No.
So what is the $1,500 for?
Buying helmets.
$1,500 is for, $1,200 for helmets and $300 for
Little flashers.
flashers.
Was that, so that's different from the motion we just did with the 52 helmets?
Yes.
Correct. This is the grant application that.
This is actually a grant application.
But I don't understand why you need the, is it, you're asking for the $1,500 grant?
Yes, from ODOT.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Okay.
Asking that we apply, have permission to apply for it.
Yeah, we have to ask the city
Yes, I know that.
council. Okay, there we go.
So at this point, does the committee need to make a motion? So
Yes.
Somebody want to make a motion?
First,
No, you have to make a
Oh,
motion.
I make a motion, we,
You can keep it simple. You can say you ask council for permission. to
ask
apply
council
for the
permission
ODOT.
to apply for a grant for $1,500. Innovative Mobility Micro Grant Application
Through ODOT.
through ODOT for $1,500 for bicycle helmets and lights.
I second.
Wait a minute, and what happened to the racks?
That,
That's
a
going to
different
the
story.
Parks is gonna take care.
Parks,
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're,
Grant for bike helmets and lights, got it. And Jamie seconded?
That was my
Yes.
question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
when's the
Parks are
due
gonna do
date
that,
on
right?
that?
And then I just
End of
wanted,
the year.
want to take it one step further. You're going to take it to council next meeting?
yeah, I guess it was.
Appreciate
Or
it.
both of us
Mike
did.
was supposed to report, but he's not here, so you're gonna report to council,
Okay.
okay?
I didn't even tell Hirsch this, but I want to bring it up because we talked about the grant earlier.
Hold on a second, did you vote?
Oh, we didn't
Well-
vote.
All in favor of.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Not,
Any opposed?
now I can talk. One of the things I noticed at our last two meetings, we are out of maps. One of the most, two things that go really quick are the laws regarding riding your bike for adults and kids. And the other is maps. People want to come up and find out, where can I ride my bike? And we had a Mid-Willamette Valley map that was sponsored by Chariots, but they decided, or didn't, I guess, didn't decide anything is what happened. And they didn't renew the publication of those maps. We've given out the hundreds of maps that we had, and we're out. And it turns out there aren't any maps of any sort anywhere. We don't know of any, can't find any.
What
What I was gonna just bring up is, I don't know how much it costs if we could put together either off our website, some little map booklet, or how much it would cost to at least investigate what the price would be to republish the map that we had. I'm assuming it's somewhere that just requires money. to get it. And that we would include that in a third or a grant application, just an idea. I just talking.
Well, right at the moment, I followed up when you told me we were out of maps, and transit, the person that was in charge of that retired. And
Good news.
there's a committee that's looking at the map. The map itself is a really good map, as we found out, and it involves the Council of Governments. Mike Jaffe is one of the contacts, and several other entities to do the funding, including the City of Salem and Marion County and a few others. So my understanding is there's a work group that's been formed to do a new one.
Oh.
But I can't tell you how,
When?
Does Mike Jaffe have any that you can have?
There, Council of Governments uses their database to form the maps, but it's all transit.
Well, just, I
Sure.
mean, like the,
A paper one would be copied.
yeah.
Well,
It's huge, folded.
it's just like a map of Oregon, it's the same size.
That people take and put in their pocket? and
Yeah.
Yes.
when they ride?
Well, a lot of times.
Yeah, or a Jersey pocket.
Or they decide where they're going to go. And so I could circle things on the map when I'm talking to somebody, say, hey, go down here to Kaiser Rapids Park and circle that on the map, or go over here to Willamette Mission, or show them places they could go. And it's marked which are the safer routes to go on, and things to stay away from, like River Road.
Well, they're really good maps. They're like the ODOT state maps, but just of the two county areas in Kaiser and Salem. They're well updated. Fact is, the last one has a picture of our Patty Rogers, our Pat Fisher, when she was on the board, riding across the new bridge.
Okay.
Right now, there's just no contacts at transit that says, yeah, there's a box here.
Okay.
And we got, 3 boxes a year ago.
When you're gone.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have us jump just yet.
Yeah, okay.
Well, how about if I just looked into it?
I like that.
Because
That sounds
there
hurt.
was some people, and the gal that was here with the 2 kids, when she was saying, well, how do I get from my house to the karate school? What's the safest, so
And that was a good
pen
map
out,
for it.
And I could say, well, you could trace, go this way, stay away from River Road, stay away from these places. And you could mark on the map and hand it to them. So
And
if we had one that was in more detail for Kaiser, and maybe it wouldn't, I don't know how much it costs. We might be able to publish it ourselves. Debbie, do we have any ability to publish a paper? I don't know,
Well, that's
say
why I
5 pages this size?
That's why I asked. If you're talking a great big map, it would have to be on the plotter, which is a lot more involved.
Yeah,
It's not like just making copies on the copy machine.
yeah.
So I think with, like Hirsch said, that it might be best to wait, and you can look into seeing if you can find some somewhere. Maybe even check with Bill Lawyer to see if there's any over in Public Works, a box stashed away somewhere.
That's a good idea.
No?
My
Okay, never mind.
No,
I just
Sorry.
cleaned up our mess.
But, yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, I don't feel like I can volunteer the plotter.
No, I
That's-
didn't, no,
the-
not that.
Yeah,
the bike shops are wanting them too, because their supply is gone. It's just,
Maybe they can print them for us. All right, well, we'll curb this for right now and bring it back up and see in a month or 2
Okay.
if you guys can come up with anything.
Yeah.
As far as my update, I think the biggest thing I have, Debbie, I want to know more about Tree Cities, like the city.
Okay, so Mike has a gigantic PowerPoint, and I have printed out the stuff that goes with it, and I've saved it back here. If you want, I can give it to you ahead of time, but my thought was to wait until he does his presentation And he gives you all the details about it.
DeBlasi or?
Mike DeBlasi, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can do it next.
Yes, hopefully,
Next.
hopefully he can do it next time, yes.
All right, thank you. So that is all I had on that. We are now on to Mike. Mr. Griffin.
Real quick here, thank you very much. In the stormwater world, recently we completed 2 of our annual programs. Had the guys inspect 428 manholes, and out of those manholes, we found 10 that needed to be cleaned. And along with the manholes, we inspected 1,981 catch basins, so where all your rainwater goes. And we have a parameter, basically it's real technical, we put a stick in it, and if it's above 10 inches, we put it on the list to clean. If it's under, then we don't. So that's just an easy way that we choose. And out of those, 180 need cleaning. And so that's pretty good at about 2,000 catch basins all around town. That number's pretty low. So what we'll do is that generated a list, which goes back on the tablet, and we use ArcGIS, and the guys have points around town, and then we can pull up in our back truck and we'll clean said catch basin, pop the lid, clean the manhole. Meanwhile, look to see if how the lines look, because the lines from the catch basin go to the manhole, which then goes down the street to an outfall, so on and so forth. So
You got those neat little cameras on
on the trucks, yeah.
yeah.
So, and then part of the inspections are we inspect our outfalls, which is where our stormwater discharges. So, yes.
I have a question. It's a very specific, because what I'm interested in, remember, and I don't have to tell him. Remember when I complained about the guy driving the trucks over the discharge pipe that was down behind, it's right on into Claggett Creek or into the lake off of Hazelbrook, my house. You sent some guys down.
Okay.
The problem was they were bringing in log trucks, semis, gravel trucks.
Oh, when they were
driving
clearing.
over the manhole cover down there, but it's not in Kaiser, it's actually.
Yeah, but we have an easement that goes out to one of our outfalls. So
I wondered if they're done now, so did
Yeah.
they do any damage?
No, they're done, and we have many of our outfalls TV'd every 5 years, and that's one of them included. So I made sure made sure there were no problems. And we found the manhole. We had it marked. There's 2 actually, one part way down, one farther down. We put T-posts, so we
It's
didn't.
the one that, when it rains really hard,
The one that clanks.
you ever seen the manhole lift itself up in the air about 6 inches and then drop back down?
Nice.
Wakes me up.
Mike, you think it'll ever rain, that you'll need those?
I don't know.
I had rain in my house yesterday.
What else do you have on there, Mike?
So, anyways, we'll be out cleaning, getting ready for the rain. So that's my update in that world.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I have another question. Is it an apartment building that's going in on River Road, a half a block north of Lock Haven? Is that the driveway that's going to empty onto River Road, or is it going somewhere else?
I think that's the access, that cut that you're seeing, though, that'll be a driveway in.
I'm looking at that, I drive it every day, and it's too close to not too close. It's close enough to the left turn lane if you're heading into Kaiser on River Road from like McNary Estates or something, on that, right down the hill. So there's a left-hand turn lane so you can go east on Lock Haven. It looked like their driveway is right at the
Things changed very quickly with that project. That's a construction entrance right now, so that could very well not be where it's going. And Matt Reyes is part of that project and would know more in detail. But I don't want to say that that's where it's going.
I was saying, I would have put a right turn only coming out of that driveway because of where it's located.
Yeah,
It looks dangerous, like it's going to create a issue, but who knows?
It's right next to Wade's house.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the list is a police liaison report from Officer Leday. I'm sorry, Officer Powell. No, I got it right this time. I'm getting it almost right.
No, we don't have anything to report other than obviously school's out, so we've been spending a lot of our time in the school zones trying to get people reacclimated to the speed zone.
Awesome. And then our council liaison is not here today. I did want to ask, did anybody attend the planning commission from yesterday? I don't know who.
Briefly.
You did? Do you have any updates that you might want to, that need to be reflected or get given to the committee?
When I was there, and I was late, so I missed the opening, they were getting a presentation on the change in the law due to executive order from, due to parking.
Okay.
And so they were addressing options.
Okay.
And so nothing was decided, but the whole meeting pretty much incorporated the presentation.
Oh, wow, okay. I don't know much about that. I do see on here that Michael is supposed to, I'll ask him if he's gonna do at least the planning commission, since you're taking over the council.
I can do both and switch with Michael.
Sounds good, okay. Thank you so much. So it looks like with all of that, I will adjourn the meeting. Oh.